Second. All right. Okay. Now, are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? We're about to start to solve some problem. Okay, we're about to solve some problem. All right. So are you ready? Just type a yes in the chat if you are, and then we can set the ball rolling. Okay, thank you very much. Right. But just before I start, I'll briefly show you how to download and install Power BI. It's very straightforward and seamless. And then I would also show you the data set we'll be working with. Okay. But from there on, what I would love you to do is let's work together. I'll explain exactly what I'm doing. All right. So even if you can't follow me now, the session is recorded. Okay. It's a recorded session and it will be provided to you, including the slides we're using today, provided you fill in the attendance form, which would be in the chat. So watch out in the chat box on this call. The link to the attendance form will be provided by one of my colleagues, and do well to fill it in so you can get the recording and the slides, including the data set we'll be using today. So you can then sit back and just solve a problem with me. All right? Sounds fun? Does it sound good? Does that sound good to you? Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, great. All right, fantastic one. Okay, so like I said, if you can see my screen, you'd see that I've also provided the data set we'll be using in today's session in here. So that's the link. All right, that's the link to the data set, as you can see on my screen. That's the link to the data set. So please do well to fill in the attendance form, and then you get access to every single material we're using today, including the recording of this particular session, and you'll be able to replicate whatever I'll be doing today in your free time. All right. So now let's look at what the problem that we are going to be solving today. So imagine you're a financial analyst, right? Okay. So let me just give me a second to share the link to the data sets. All right, so that's the link to the data sets, and then you can download it. Um, so that's the link to the data set. I've put it in the chat in case you want to download it. All right. So let me go back here. Okay. So just in case you want to download the data set, all right. So that's the link to the data set in the chat. So I'll go ahead and explain what exactly we're going to be doing today. All right. Now, if you look at my screen, all right, so I want you to imagine a scenario where you're working as a financial analyst in one of the largest global retail chains, all right, and they've been able to garner data for a period of for a period of 3 years, from January 2020 to December 2023, all right, and your job is very simple. Your job as a financial analyst is very simple. We as an organization, as the global retail chain, we want to know how we perform over time. We also want to know, is there any interesting pattern? Is there any trend that you can be able to find within the data set? All right, it's a bulky data set. So you'll be using your expertise as a data analyst, or as a financial analyst rather, to um, solve this particular problem. Okay, so are there trends in the data? And what exactly did we do, across those years? All right. So these are the things that we want to know as an organization. Okay. So, um, like I said, you'll be analyzing this data to show some, to summarize it in form of performance, to summarize it in form of a performance report. Would the data set be sent with the recording? Absolutely. All right. So the data set is is the same link I've sent in the chat. That's one. Number two, I also mentioned that the data set would be in this slide. If you look at my screen now, sorry, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Just type a yes if you can see my screen. So Priscilla, can you see my screen? So Priscilla, are you there? Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, just type a yes in the chat, please, so I know that we can still see my screen. Oh, okay. Fantastic one. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that, everyone. All right. So if you look at my screen, you see click here to download the data set. So this particular slide, will also be sent alongside the um, the recording of this session. All right. It will be sent alongside the recording of this session so that you can be able to replicate whatever I'll be doing today. All right. What I'll be doing today is not anything complex. It's going to be very simple, easy to follow, easy to replicate, but we'll be solving an actual problem. All right. I believe we can all hear me. Esther is saying they can't hear me. So Esther may want to leave. You may want to leave the call. You may want to leave the call and rejoin. Okay. You want to leave the call and rejoin so that you get your audio back. All right. So like I said, just to reiterate, right, the data set is here in the slide. All you need to do at this point is to fill in the attendance form. Okay, so my colleagues will put in the link to the attendance form in the chat. All right, so look out for it. I'll also prompt you once it's there so that you can start to fill it in. And then you'll be rest assured that you get the recordings alongside the data sets, everything you need to replicate whatever I'll be doing today in Power BI. All right, and I was explaining that you're working as a financial analyst. Okay, the problem we're going to solve is that we want, as this organization, a global retail chain, okay, one of the largest, right, and they have operations across 5 different regions, and they want you to basically summarize their performance across 3 years, from the year 2022, from the year 2020 to 2023, right? So they want you to summarize their performance across those years, okay? And then you also want to look out for any patterns, any trend, and you want to tell the organization whether they've grown across those years, basically what their performance has been across those years, all right? So, and you will be using both Excel and Power BI to do that. Mainly Power BI. We'll take a look at the data set in Excel, and then we'll go to Power BI. So the link to the attendance has just been put in the chat. Guys, ensure to fill it in as I speak so that you get access to the recordings and the data set, including the slides that we are currently using in today's session. All right. So this is where we get started. Okay. So permit me to 1 second. All right. So like I said, this is the link to the data sets. I'll put it again in the chat just in case you want to download it. All right. Yeah. So that's the link to the data sets in case you want to follow me. Right. And to download, Power BI is very simple. So I'll just show that very briefly, and then we'll open up the data set. If you want to download Power BI, all you need to do is to open a new browsing tab, and search for Power BI, Power BI, Power BI download, Power BI download, right? Power BI download. Okay, Power BI download, hit enter to search Power BI download. All right. So and what you want to click on is downloads Microsoft Power BI. Okay, download Microsoft Power BI. So I'll click on download Microsoft Power BI. I'll click on download Microsoft Power BI, and that takes me to this page. All right, so it takes me to this page. Okay, so I'm just showing you so that it's also recorded in this on this call. So when you get the recording, you can follow through and you'll be able to do the same thing. All right, what you want to do from here is you want to scroll down. Okay, you want to scroll down. You'd see Microsoft Power BI Desktop on the left here. Microsoft Power BI Desktop, and that's what you want to download. Okay, that's what you want to download, and you click on advanced download options. Click on advanced download option. All right, and then you want to, yeah, English is your language. You want to click on download, and you see two options. Okay, you see two options. So you may be wondering, which one should I download? All right. So if you're sure your system is Emmanuel Daniels, you may want to switch off your video, right? So if you're not sure if your system is a 64-bit computer, right? All you need to do is to select the first one, okay, and click on download. Or if you're sure, right? If you're sure, um, okay. So if you are sure, okay, if you are sure, you want to, if you're sure about your system being a 64-bit, you can download the second one. All right, they work similarly. Okay, so all you need to do is go to your downloads, double click on it, and the process is very straightforward. You just hit next, next, next until you are finally installed Power BI, and then you can launch. Okay, so the data set we'll be using today, all right, is what you can see on my screen. Can we all see my screen? This is Microsoft Excel. Can you see my screen? Can you see what I have on my screen? Can we all see what I have on my screen? Okay, fantastic one. Great. Now, like I said, this particular data set is a financial data set for a particular organization. All right, has I think about 10 to 15,000 rows of data. All right, and you can see you have dates, you have the store ID, you have the region. Okay, but before we even start, what you'd notice first is that your date is showing hash hash hash. All right, hash values. And your columns, each of your columns are not resized optimally to show their content, right? So let's resize everything at once. Okay. So what newbies do is they would bring their cursor here to resize one after the other. Okay, but that's not what you want to do. What you want to actually do is you bring your cursor to letter A, hold and drag across, hold it, drag it across to the end. Then in between any two letters, the line in between any two letters, C and D, or D and E, this line in between, put your cursor there and double click. Once you do that, all the columns will be fully resized and you can see the contents of each of them clearly. Are we together, guys? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? So that's how you resize all your columns at once in Excel. All right. And then you will now notice that because we've resized our columns, okay, because we've been able to resize our columns, right? You can now see the dates starts from 31st of January, 31st of January 2020, and all the way to 2023, like I mentioned earlier. And then you have the store ID, that's the store where this particular transaction happened. And then you have the region, like I said, there are 5 different regions: North America, Africa, Asia, and the likes. All right. So you also have product category. Okay, product category. That's the category the products fall under. You have electronics, apparel, groceries, and so many others. All right. And then you have sales. Okay, so you have sales. Now your sales is synonymous in this context. It's very synonymous to what you call revenue. Do you understand what we call revenue? I would explain, but let me ask you guys. Have you heard of revenue before? Do you know what revenue is? Just type a yes in the chat if you know what revenue is. Revenue. All right, fantastic. So if you're confused on what revenue is, very simple. Okay, very simple. All right, very simple. Now, whenever you let's assume let's assume Mohammed sells phones, for example. So let's assume Mohammed sells phones. All right, so I sell phones, okay, high-end phones, and then I have, let's say, 10 of them. I have 10 phones that I'm going to sell. All right. So if each of the phones costs, let's say, $100, each of the phones hypothetically costs $100, right? What's what will be the what will be the money in my hand when I sell those phones for? I'll come again. Each of the phones cost $100, and I have 10 of them that I want to sell. When I'm done selling them all, how much would I have in my hand? Anybody who wants to help me? How much would I have in my hand? I have 10 phones. Each of them cost $100. How much would I have in my hand? Fantastic. Okay, $1,000. Fantastic. You see, that's $1,000 that I have in my hand. That is exactly what I can refer to as sales or revenue. All right, depending on how you want to, call it. All right, so that's sales. That's sales here. Okay, and then you have cost of goods sold. Now, the cost of goods sold is the amount of money it costs the organization or the company to produce that or to manufacture that particular um, you know um, product, or in this case um, the amount of money that it costs them to purchase it from the manufacturer. Okay, the amount of money it costs the organization to purchase it from the manufacturer, right? And then the net income. I saw somebody mentioned income in the chat, right? So in this case, what you have is net income. And net income, you know, you may think is revenue, but it's not. All right. But what net income is you see that $1,000 that you guys mentioned after I sell all those phones that I have, right? Those 10 phones that I mentioned. Okay. So I have 1,000. So that's not going to be the end of my business once I finish selling them. I want to go and purchase some other phones, right? So I have to remove some amount of money. Okay, I'll remove some amount of money to purchase new phones so that I can sell to make profit again, and the cycle goes on. So that after I remove what I need, which is the operating costs or the operating expense, to ensure that I can get new phones, I'll be left with what you call net income. Another name for it is profit, right? Another name for it is profit. Okay, another name for it is what? Profit. And then in this column, you have average sales. This is just the average sales per day. So for 31st of January, you can see it's just 814.7. That's the average sales when you look at your revenue. That's your sales. Okay, everything that all the sales you made on the 31st of January. Okay, the average of it is 810.7. Okay, so it's a way of aggregating, your sales, right? And then you have inventory. Okay, inventory is, the amount of goods that you have in stock. Okay, the number of goods that you have in stock. All right. So after having understood all this now, okay, after having understood all this now, right, we can then close our Excel data sets and open up Power BI. So we'll open up Power BI and then we'll bring in the data set into Power BI and then we'll start to work on we'll see what information we can extract from the data set. All right. So I'll just go ahead and close this. It's going to ask me if I want to save. Just going to say, okay, save. Okay, I'll just say save. All right. So it's asking me to save. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and hit on save. Then I want to replace. Okay, so what I'll do is I won't save them since I already have it, saved, right? I opened it. So because I've adjusted the columns, it's asking me to save again. So what I'll do is I'll just say don't save. So close it down for me. So if you are just joining us, like I said, you get the data set alongside the slides that I'm using in this particular session. Okay. I already provided the link also in the chat. So that's the link to the data set one more time. But you don't have to work alongside myself. Okay. What I actually want you to do is to join me in solving this particular problem. Okay. So one part of being a financial analyst is you knowing how to navigate your way using that technical tool. But another very important part is you understanding the problem and knowing exactly what to look out for, in order to solve the problem, which is also very important. All right. So, like I said, when you get the recording, provided that you fill in the attendance form, you'll be able to replicate every single thing that I'll be doing today. All right. And we would love to see what you come up with once you're done doing that. All right. So I'll go ahead and open up Power BI. Go ahead and open up Power BI. Okay. So I'll go ahead and open up Power BI. I believe you can all see my screen, correct? I believe we can see my screen. Can we all see my screen? Okay, type a yes in the chat if you can. Okay, thank you very much for that. Just two people. I want to see the responses flying in. Okay, so that we're on the same page. All right, fantastic. Okay, fantastic one. All right, so this is Power BI. For those of us who have seen it before, you might be very familiar with Power BI. But if you've not seen it before, right? You've not seen Power BI before. Okay, this is your Power BI interface. Okay, and this is where you create your reports. All right, this is where you create your reports. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is let's bring in the data set into Power BI. All right, so the data set is somewhere in my system. So memories, I provided the link to the data set in the chat just when you asked. All right, you asked before, I provided the link and I'm putting it one more time. And I also mentioned that do well to fill in the attendance form so that you can gain access to the recordings, to all the materials, including the data set. All right, so that you can replicate it in your own free time. Okay, so we are just going to be doing this for the next 30 minutes so that we don't stay endlessly on the call. So I'm just going to spend 30 minutes, and wherever we stop, we'll put a halt to it and you'll be able to replicate it once you get the recording. All right, so we'll take 30 minutes to solve this problem. And once we are done, all right, I'll then walk you through on how to become a financial analyst yourself. So what are the things you need to focus on to become a financial analyst? All right. So now when you look at the Power BI interface, if you've not used it before, you'll be very clueless. Okay, you'll be very clueless on what to do. What do I click here? Till today, I still remember the first time I opened Power BI very vividly. All right, and I can still remember how clueless I was back then. Okay, like I mentioned, I also transitioned from being a mechanical engineer to being to enter into the tech space. All right. So in as much as I still do a bit of engineering, I still know my stuff when it comes to engineering. All right. What I love doing is absolutely tech. All right. So and that's because of the kind of reward that comes with it. Okay, simple and short. Right. So let's come back to where we are. So, but I believe I've settled you that's memories, premier properties. I believe I've settled you. So do well to fill in the attendance form. It's been posted by Analytics Inquiries in the chat now. So click on that and fill it in, right? Now, when you open up Power BI, okay, when you open up Power BI, what should go through your mind is what we call the Power BI workflow, right? The Power BI workflow. So it's like a routine when you open up Power BI, okay? A routine to working with Power BI is what you call Power BI work. And in the workflow, the first phase is what you call ETL. ETL. And I'll type it in the chat. ETL. ETL, meaning extract, transform, and load. Extract, transform, and load. That's the first thing that should come to your mind. But what's extract, transform? Simple. The first thing you want to do is you want to extract the data from wherever it's located into your Power BI environment. How do we do that? Now, guys, I want you to look at the top part of my screen. Can we all see this top part of my screen where I have my ribbons? Can you see this top part of my screen? Fantastic. Thanks for the response. So what you want to click on is get data. Get data. And just as you may think, even if you've never used Power BI before, get data means get data, literally. No other thing, no other strings attached. Okay, get data means get data. Whatever it is you think, get data is used for, that's exactly what's used for. And it's used to get data. And that's what we want to do. So I'll click on get data. Okay. And my file is in form of, it's a CSV file. For those of us who have downloaded the Excel file, you notice that it's a CSV file. All right. So what I want to click on is text or CSV. If it's an Excel file, you can click on Excel work. All right. So, but the file is saved as a CSV file. Okay. All right. So, because of that, I'll be clicking on text or CSV. You can connect to multiple data sources with Power BI, multiple data sources, and you can even see more here. There is still more that you can, that you can connect to. So, do well to explore once you get Power BI installed. So, I'll click on text or CSV. All right, text or CSV. And in my downloads, you'd see retail chain financial data set. That's the data set we're going to be working with today. Retail chain financial data set. All right. And all I need to do is very simple. I'll click on it. I'll click on it once, and then I click on open at the bottom of my screen here. I'll click on open at the bottom of my screen. Right. So I'll go ahead and click on open, and then you see Power BI doing something. So I'll just sit back and watch Power BI doing stuff. Okay, so what Power BI is doing is it's performing the extract phase. Remember I mentioned one of the things you do is extract in the ETL. E is for extract. All right, so what we've just done is to extract our data from its source. All right, and you can see a preview. I showed you this exact same data set in Excel moments ago, correct? Do you remember this? Can you remember that? We saw this together in Excel. Fantastic one. Okay, great, Firdaus. Who else? Fantastic. Okay, Tofumi, Priscilla. If you are just joining us, you might have missed that part. Okay, but the good thing is that the session is recorded. So you want to fill in the attendance form so that you can catch up later on the parts that you missed. So we already saw this in in Excel. So, but what we'll be doing, what we'll go on to do is, remember I said that in the ETL phase, you have to do what? Extract, transform, and load, right? So what we've done is extract. So now look at the bottom part of my screen now. What should be the next thing I should do? Based off of what I've said so far, what should be the next thing I should click here? What should I click on? What should I click on? Fantastic. Transform. Exactly. So and that's why you have to have the ETL phase at the back of whenever you're working with Power BI. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click transform. I'll hit transform. Okay, and once you click on transform, that opens up a part of Power BI, very interesting part of Power BI. Okay, so this is another Windows. I'll just maximize by hitting this um um by hitting this particular icon here. So to maximize. Okay, and the reason you want to transform your data, okay, the reason you want to transform your data, all right, is very simple. You want to be able to ascertain that your data is in the right format for analysis. If not, then you need to do one or two things. All right. Okay. So, but for the purpose of today's session, we'll just look at it, ensure that it's in the right format, and then we can go on to what we have. So, this particular aspect of Power BI that's now is what we call the Power Query Editor. And I can see somebody in the chat saying it looks like Power Query in Excel. Okay, and that's very correct. It's the same. In short, it's the same. Power Query in Excel is Power Query in Power BI. All right, and I worked. I held one master class. I think that was last month, where I walked people through on how to, automate Excel dashboards. Okay, using Power Query in Excel. So here we are again, Power Query, but this time in Power BI. Right? So the Power Query Editor, and this is where you ensure that your data set is in the correct format for analysis. Now, let's take a look at the first column. We have dates. We have dates. And if you look at the left-hand side of each column, what you have there is the data type. Can we see that? If you look at the left-hand side of each column header, rather, the left-hand side of each column header, you'd notice the data types of each of the columns. For the date now, I'll click on that icon. Okay, you can see the icon is date. So it means that this particular column is correctly formatted. It's date, right? So we want this column to be in date format, and that is what it is already. Okay, so Power BI has that feature of automatically detecting the data type in a particular column. So it takes a look at the first few rows under a column, and then it assigns a data type depending on the values that you have there. So it has looked at this column and said, okay, I have date in there. Great. And then the next one, you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 means whole numbers. Okay, I have whole numbers. Okay, store ID, whole numbers. In the region, I have ABC. ABC means text. ABC means text. All right. And then you can see product category also ABC. Sales 1.2. 1.2 means decimal number. That's the denotion of decimal numbers. And then we also have cost of goods sold. That's also in decimal. Net income is also in decimal. Average sales is also in decimal. And what do we have? Inventory finally is in whole numbers. All right. And if you look at this column quality, all right, what you have here is my column quality. It's called column quality. It tells me whether I have blanks, whether I have errors in a column. And what you can see now across board is 100% valid, meaning I don't have blanks, I don't have errors in any of the columns. All right. So we also have specialized other sessions, right, where you see scenarios where you have to correct some errors. Okay. So, but for this particular session, what our main aim is to extract insight from the data. Okay, which is what we are going to be doing in a bit. So, if you don't have this column quality on your own, how do you activate it? Simple and easy. All you need to do is redirect your gaze to the top part of your screen where you have home, transform, add column, view, and all that. All you need to do is to click on view. Click on view and take a look at column quality. Mine is checked. If I uncheck it, it disappears. All right. If I want it back, I check the box. I just click on column quality and it comes back up. All right. So that's how you activate it. Okay. So I'll just click on home back so that this is the default page. All right. So we've ascertained that our data is in the correct format of analysis. So what we need to do next now is, in the ETL, who can remind me, what do we need to do next now? We've extracted, we've transformed. What do we need to do next now? What do we need to do next? Fantastic. Load. We load. How do we load? Simple. All you need to do to load is to direct your gaze to where my mouse is now. Can we see where my mouse is dancing? Can you see where my mouse is dancing on the top left corner screen? Fantastic. So that is the close and apply function. So it's going to close Power Query Editor and apply whatever changes I must have done here, or whatever the content of my Power Query is, which is the data set. And I'll be able to start to work with that in my Power BI environment. So I'll click on that icon. You can either click on the icon above close and apply, this one here, or you click on close and apply itself, and you see the option for close and apply. Close and apply. All right, so all you need to do is to click on close and apply. Click on close and apply. All right. Click on close and apply. Click on close and apply. All right. Click on close and apply. You can see it's loading. Can we all see what's happening on my screen, guys? Can you see what's happening on my screen? Did we see what happened? Did anybody see what's happened? Okay, fantastic. So it loaded the data set, and now if you look at the right-hand side, of my screen, okay, you see that I now have retail chain financial data sets in here, right? Retail chain financial data sets in here. So Rita's A52, all right. First of all, when did you join the session? So if you joined the session a bit late, you might be a bit lost. So but what you want to do is, don't worry. We are solving a problem for a global retail chain, and what we want to do is very simple. Okay, so we want to analyze the data to spot trends and patterns, and to analyze the performance of the organization across 4 years, from year 2020 to 2023. All right, and we'll be doing that together. The session is absolutely recorded, so all you need to do at this point, my advice to you, Rita, that's Rita's A52. All right, my advice to you is to fill in the attendance form so that you can get access to the recording. The recordings will be shared with you. You can see my colleague has put it in the chat now. So fill it in so that you get access to the recording and all the materials we are using currently, including the slides that I presented earlier and I'll still be presenting. Okay, so you get access to everything and you'll be able to replicate this at your own free time. So, but the first thing you notice here, guys, is that you have retail chain financial data sets, in on your right hand side in your data pane. So these are called panes. Okay. All right, these are called panes. So you'd see that. All right, so Rita, fantastic. All you need to do is to sit back. Let's solve this problem together. Okay, so you just look at what is on my screen, solve the problem together. I'll be asking you questions when I start building the chart. I would love to hear your responses. All right, so that we can. So data analysis is not a lot of people. Financial analysis, right? It's not all about you being very good with Power BI. If you build fancy charts, take this from me, okay? And you can say it anywhere that Mohammed said this. Build fancy charts all you want. If it doesn't solve the specific problem at hand, then you've done nothing. Okay? So the main aim is to balance between aesthetics and solving problems. And keep in mind that solving problems is the most important, right? You're a problem solver as a financial analyst, right? So keep that in mind as well. So now, if you look at my screen, you see retail chain financials. So let me change the name of this something shorter and easier, right? Something shorter. So to change the name, all I need to do is to double click on it. I'll double click on it and you can see the name is highlighted and I can type something like financial, finan, financials, financials, and hit enter. Okay, type in financials and hit enter. Once again, to rename, all you need to do is to double click on it and you are able to rename it. And yeah, that's it, financials. All right, financials. So now in Power BI, the data is in Power BI. So in Power BI, if you look at the left-hand side of my screen, you see three icons here. Okay, the first one is for report view, and this is the view that shows you your reports, which we'll be using extensively today. Then the second one, I'll click on it, is your table view, and this shows you your data set in form of a table, right? In form of rows and columns, just like you'd see it in Excel. And you have a third view, which is called the model view, right? The model view. And this is where you see your this is where you build data models, right? So what we'll be using extensively today is our report view. Okay, we'll be using our report view extensively today. All right, we'll be using our report view extensively today. So just give me 1 second. All right, fantastic one. Now, I'll click on the drop down. Okay, I'll click on the drop down beside financials, and you'll be able to see all the columns in my data set arranged in alphabetical order, starting from average sales, cost of goods sold, date, inventory, net income. I mentioned net income also means profits. Okay, product category, the region, your sales, and your store ID. Right. Now we have all this, okay, and we can go ahead to, start to create our charts. But before we create our charts, let me introduce you to something very, very important in Power BI. Now you can see we have net income, right? We have net income, we have sales, and then what else do we have? We have net income, and we have sales. Okay, let's look at those two first of all. Net income, which stands for your profits, and we also have sales, which is the revenue. Correct? So, guys, are we following? We have these two columns, net income, and you have sales as well, right? So let's know exactly. Let's create what we call a measure. You know, when you visit a fashion designer, all right, when you visit your tailor or your fashion designer, the first thing they do is to take your measurements. Correct? uh, Obviously after you must have exchanged pleasantries and all. But when work starts, or where their work starts, is taking measurements, right? Taking your measurements, correct? Else, what they'll be doing doesn't make any sense. So they take measurements, and what do they do with the measurements? Do they just take it? Do they just take it? What do they do with it? They record it. They have a jotter where they record their measurements, right? They have a jotter where they record their measurements, or maybe a notepad or a mobile device where your measurements are written against your name. Correct? Am I correct? I want your responses so I know you're following. So these are the important parts. When I tell people these are the actual what I'm explaining now, these are the important parts in being a financial analyst, right? So fantastic one, guys. Now, you see that kind of scenario. That's exactly what we want to do now in Power BI. So we want to create a jotter. Okay, we'll create a jotter so that we can write a measure that would help us sum up our total sales. So we can keep our total sales in that jotter. We can also write a measure that would you know give us our total income, our total income. Sorry, our total yes, our total income, which is our total profits, okay? To sum up our net income to give us our total profit, rather. All right. So we'll keep that in our jotter, our hypothetical jotter, okay? And whenever we need them, we go there and pick them from, we go there and pick it from there. So we don't have to always come back to the data set itself to pick them. All right. So those specific measures, we pick them from the jotter. Okay. And you write a bit of formula to create these measures. And that's what we'll quickly do. Okay, we'll quickly do that, and then we would go on to building, our charts. So let's do that together. Now, in order to do that, can we see this icon where my mouse is dancing? It says enter data. Enter data, correct? Enter data. Enter data. All right. So I'll click on enter data. Okay. And that is my jotter in Power BI. This is what stands for my jotter in Power BI. That icon, enter data. Okay, so I'll click on it and I'll come to the bottom here where my name box is and type in, I'll type in, let me say calculations. Calculations. All right, calculations, and I hit load. I'll click on load. I'll click on load. So when I click on load now, Power BI now adds a table. Okay, for me, as part of my data pane. Just let's take a break. Okay, fantastic. Can you all see calculations now in here? Like a table in there. It looks as if it's a data set also. All right, but it's empty now. Okay, nothing is inside. Okay, nothing is inside. So that's calculations that we just created. And what we want to put in here are what we call measures. Measures. All right. So we'll create a measure for total profits, total sales, and maybe profit margin if we have time. Right. So I'll right click on calculations. I'll right click on calculations and then click on new measure. New measure. New measure. So when you get the recording and you're following, you'll be able to follow all these steps, right? New measure. So I'll click on new measure. Click on new measure and you'll notice something on the top part of my screen here. Hang on. Power BI is working on it. I'll increase this. Sorry about that. Not this. Okay, this here. Can we see what I have here? I'm trying to make it a bit bold so that you can see it. Can we see what I have here? Measure equal to. Measure equal to. Power BI says measure equal to. So, okay, what do you want me to evaluate? That's what Power BI is asking. Are we together, guys? Okay, fantastic. Thanks for the responses. All right. So, but are we together? Are we together? Type yes in the chat if we're together. Type yes in the chat. I'll create one or two measures and then we'll start creating our charts. Okay. Okay, fantastic. So I'll click on new. I clicked on new measure and it says measure equal to. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I'll change this. I'll change measure. I'll highlight measure and type in total profits. Total profit. So I want to evaluate total profit first. I give a space. Total profit equal to. Total profit equal to. Okay, thank you very much. I can see your responses. Total profit equal to. Okay, and what I want to do is to sum up the net income column in my data set. I want to sum up the net income column in my data set. And I'll say all I need to do is to type sum. SUM, sum, to add up everything in my net income table. So typing sum, you can see sum is suggested as one of the functions. So I'll click on sum and I have options. Okay, but what I want is net income, my net income column. So I can just begin to type net income. And you can see that it's suggested here now. Financials, square bracket, net income. Financials, square bracket, net income. Simply telling us that, oh, the net income column in my financials table. You can see I have a table here called financials. and I have a column called net income. So this is it here, right? So all I need to do is to click on that, populate for me, and then I close bracket and hit enter. Close bracket and hit enter. So once I do that, there's a measure now created for me that says total profit. Total profit. Okay, and it has summed up the entire net income column. Great. Now that is the first one. Okay. So with this first one, right? With this first one, let's build a let's build something. Okay, let's build something. Okay, so the first thing I want to build now is let's see let's see let's see you know our let's see our net income. Okay, let's see our total profit rather, our total profit. We want to see it. We can't see it now, so let's actually see it. So in order to see the value of my total income, I would use a card visual. Can we all see where my mouse is? In my visualizations pane, that's where you select your charts, the charts you want to use. All right. So can you see the card visual where my mouse is? That's the card visual. This 1, 2, 3 here, right here. So that particular visual is used to show values. Are we together? It's used to show value. You know, when you go, if you've ever been to, you've watched a match live, maybe in an arena, in a stadium, all right, and you've held up a card, okay? You know, you write something on the card. Take, for example, all hail Messi, all right? So if you're a Messi fan, you say all hail Messi, and then you put it up, correct? You put it up for everybody to see. Are we together, guys? Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Type yes in the chat if we are together. So you'd write it like that, okay? And everybody can see it. That's very similar to what this card visual also does. Very similar to what this card visual also does. So I'll click on the card visual, okay? And then I have this. So I'll collapse my filter pane so I have more space. So I just reduce the size of this card visual. Okay, so I have the card visual right here. And all I need to do now, after I have the card visual here, I'll go and check the box I'll click on this box for total profits. This box here, I'll click on it. Once I click on it, you'd see my total profits as 3.06 billion. 3.06 billion. Can we all see that? Total profits, 3.06. Can we all see that? 3.06. That's my total profit. Okay. So if it's in dollars, right? If it's in dollars, you want to convert it to dollars. Fantastic. You want to add the dollar sign. Very simple. I'll just come here to, I believe we can all see my screen, guys. I want us to answer your responses so that. All right, sorry about that. I believe we can see my screen now, correct? Can we see my screen now? Confirm if we can see my screen so I can fire on. Priscilla, can you hear me? Are you on the call? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much for the responses, right? Just a little glitch in there. So I was saying that you can see my total profit. So I'll just put in the dollar sign in front of it. How do I do that? I'll come to the data pane here on the right-hand side of my screen where you can see my mouse glancing. Click on total profit. I'll click on total profit. And then I want to click on the dollar sign that I can see here. I'll click on total profit, not the box now, not the box that I checked. I'll just click on total profit and then click on the dollar sign. And that would add the dollar sign in front of this. So we'll just hold on for a while and it will add the dollar sign in front of this. Everybody can know that, oh, this was the amount of money made as profit. Okay, just 1 second, 1 second, it's loading, working on it, and boom, can we all see that? Can we see that now? 3.06 M. Can we see that? Fantastic one. So that is total profits, right? That is total profits. Okay, let's also now see, the total profits by region. So let's see which region has the highest profits and the lowest profit. Let's even see how they compare to each other. Okay, let's see how they compare to each other. All right. Or okay, don't worry, we'll come back to that. Okay, but this is the total profit. We'll come back to the regions, but this is total profit, right? So let's quickly create another measure. Let's create another measure. So I'll click on calculations, right click on calculations and click on new measure again, just like I did initially. Click on new measure, and this time I want to sum up my sales column. I want to sum up my sales column. So I'll sum up my sales column and call it total. So instead of measure, I'll type total profit, total sales, or total revenue. Right? Remember I said you can call it either sales or revenue. Okay, let's call it sales so that you're not confused. Right? Total sales equal to. Again, I'll type my sum because I want to add up my sales column, right? So type in some, Power BI suggests some for me, click on it, and then I'll begin to type sales, okay? Sales, and you can see financial table, sales column. My sales column in my financial table, and that's exactly what I want. So I click on that, close bracket, and hit enter. Close bracket, hit enter, and if you look closely at this right-hand side now, I now have a measure called total sales. Total sales. But I can't see what it is. I can't see the value unless I use a card like this also to, visualize it. How do I do that? I come to my report page, click on this particular visual, the card for my total profit, click on it. And on my keyboard, I'll do Control C V. I hold my Control key and press C and V one by one after the other. Control C V. That's copy paste. All right, copy paste, and I drag it down. So and that's how I duplicate the card I've initially created. All right. So now that I've dragged it down, all I need to do is I'll now come here. You see, it's still reflecting total profit. Can we all see that? It's still reflecting total profit. Can we see that? It's still reflecting total profit. But that's not what I want. I want total sales, correct? I want total sales. So all I need to do is to come to this right-hand side. Okay, I'll come to the right-hand side here where I have total profit checked. I'll uncheck total profit and check the box for total sales. I'll check the box for total sales. Check the box for total sales, and you can see my total sales in there. Total sales 10.20 M. 10.20 M. Are we together, guys? 10.20 M. Right? So we started to extract insights. So we'll start to go deeper now. Right? So now, all I need to do is I also want to put the dollar sign in front of the total sales. So all I need to do is I'll come here. Okay, I'll come here to the right-hand side, click on total sales, not the box now. You check the box when you want to enter it into a particular visualization, all right? But you click on it when you want to format it. So I'll click on total sales and then click on the dollar sign I have on top of my screen here and take a step back, allow Power BI to do its thing, and you'll then see a dollar sign in front of it. So 10.2 M. All right. Can we see that? 10.2 M. Can we see that? Can we all see this now? Can we all see this now? 10.2 M. Can we all see that? Okay, type a yes in the chat so that I know that we are following. Can we hear me? Can we hear me? Can anyone hear me? All right. Okay, thank you very much for that, guys. So the next thing I want to do now is I'll click on this canvas, okay, just the empty space. And what I want to do next now is this. I want to create a column chart rather, okay, using the clustered column chart visual here. If you see where my mouse is, that's exactly where that's what I want, clustered column chart. So I'll click on this, okay, and it brings a clustered column chart here. And all I need to do is to expand it or expand it suitably, all right? Expand it this way, okay? And what do I want? I want to see my sales growth here. So year on year, what has my sales been like year on year? How do I do that? All I need to do is that I if you look at visualization, you'd see I have x-axis here, y-axis, legend, and all that, right? So in my x-axis is the horizontal. So I want to see my years in the horizontal, on the horizontal axis, and then I want the bars to be tall, the columns rather to be tall, depending on the values of my sales. Therefore, I'll put my sales, my total sales in y-axis. So I'll go to my financials and look for date since I want year. My year will be under my dates. So I'll drag dates and drop it in x-axis, or I'll just check the box for dates. Okay, I can check the box for dates. Now, when you check the box for dates, it puts all your dates hierarchy in there. Year, quarter, month, and day. Year, quarter, month, and day. All I need to do is I'll take out day, take out month, take out quarter, and leave just year because it's just year I need. So to take them out, I just clicked on the X sign to take them out. So I want just year because I want to see my sales growth year on year. And once I've done that, I'll then drag my total sales, I'll drag it and drop it in y-axis. So you can either check the box or you drag and whichever suits you, right? So I'll drag my total sales and drop in my y-axis, right? I'll drag my total sales and drop in my y-axis. And once I do that, guys, all right, okay, I can see I have a visual showing me 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and you can see what can you say about this particular visual? So let me use the focus mode so that you can see it very well. All right, so this is the focus mode. I'll click on the focus mode icon for the chart. Can you see my screen better now? Can you see it better now? It's much larger. So what can you say about my sales growth year after year? What can you say? Type your comment in the chat. All right, type your comment in the chat. Um, Type your comments in the chat. Fantastic. Okay, increasing yearly. Someone said, best Thomas said it's progressive growth year on year, increase per year. Sales were higher in 2023. Okay, it's growing, moving upwards. All right. So there is a consistent gradual increase in sales year after year. And that's what this particular chart tells us. Fantastic. All right, great one. Thank you very much for that, guys. All right, steady increase, gradual increase, steady growth, depending on the term you want to use. So let me click on back to report because this is focus mode. I'll click on back to report. So it takes me back to the chart I'm trying to do. All right. And now let's create let's create let's now see sort of like a breakdown, right? What do I mean? Let's create a line chart. Okay, let's create a line chart that will show us that will show us um, the trend of my sales year on year, broken down to months. Now, what do I mean? Now, I'll click on this particular icon that says line charts from my visualization, where you can see my mouse now. Click on that. All right. And then I want this one to be down here, and I want to stretch it to the end so that I can see my trend. Okay. Stretch it a bit like this. Okay, great. So I have my line chart here. So what do I want to see in my x-axis? Again, I want to see dates. So I'll just put dates in here. All right, I'll put dates in here. Right. But I want to see just month and year. I want to see just month and year. So I'll take out day, I'll take out quarter and leave year and month. I'll leave year and month. And then again, I want to see total sales. So I'll drag that and drop it in y-axis. All right. Drag that and drop it in y-axis. And you can see it's telling the same story. It's telling the same story as this. Okay. So there is a steady growth year on year, in the chart. But I want to see it broken down to months. Okay, I want to see it broken down to months, right? So what I'll do is, all right, what I'll do is I'll uncheck date rather, and check it one more time. Okay, check it one more time. So it has added for me day, month, quarter, and year back. All right. Now, what this does for me, let me take it to focus mode again so that you see what it does. What this does for me is that it now allows me to see right from January 2020, which is here. Okay. If you can see the highlights, this is from January 2020. Okay. It tells me a story that through all the months down to December 2023. From January 2020 tells a story to it tells me exactly what happened up until 2023 December. So now, in your own words, what can you say happened? First off, what can you say happened? Then I'll follow it up with the question, do you see any trend? Is there any pattern you can spot in the charts? So I want to answer your comment in the chat. Answer your comment in the chat. Answer your comment in the chat. So what can you say happened to sales? All right, through the months. What can you say happened to sales through the months? So from January 2020 down to December 2023. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, sales drop towards the end of the year and pick up later each year. There is a fall in some months in each year. Okay, go ahead and see more. I'll see more comments. I'll see more comments. So let me increase the font of the year so that you can see it. So I'll click on formats, right, and click on x-axis and values. Okay, let's see if we can increase the font a bit and make it bold so that you can see it. Can we see it now? Can we see? So starting from this is January 2020. So this is about July. So if I move my cursor, you'd see the progression month on month. April, May, June, dash July, August, September, October, November, then this um, December, 2020, then January 2021, February, and so on and so forth. Okay. Just two people made comments. Just two people made comments. So feel free to make your comments, all right? Feel free to make your comments. Or let me ask this question. Do you see any pattern? Do you see any pattern? Is there any pattern or seasonality that you can see in this line chart? Do you see any pattern? Okay, so what pattern do you see? In your own words, just describe the pattern you see. Describe the pattern you see in your own. At the middle of the year, the sales is low. Fantastic, Engineer Gordon. Zigzag, fantastic. So what does the zigzag tell you? what does the zigzag tell you? What does it tell you? Let me explain because of time. All right. So you would see that from let's see, for 2020, yeah, yeah, there's a zigzag, okay, but the zigzag, it's a zigzag, but it's rising. It's kind of like rising upwards as the years go by. That's the first thing you want to notice. Then the second thing you want to notice is that from about March to let's say September, October in each year. March to September, October, you can see that's for 2020. 2021, let's see. March, okay, this February down to September. So within that first to, I mean, second to third quarter, within the second to third quarter, there is always a decrease in sales. There's always a decrease in sales, and then it picks up towards the end of the year. Picks up towards the end of the year, and for example, this is January 2023. You can see it's picking up. So it goes again, comes down, okay, and it picks up towards the end of the year, right? So year on year, but what we've been doing is that the drop year on year, you can see the dip year on year, we are improving. We are improving on the dip year on year. So yes, we came down in 2021, but not as much as in 2020. The dip in 2022 is not as much as in 2021, and so on. So we are making improvements, even if we need to pay attention to the second and third quarter in each year. All right, the second and third quarter in each year. So that's what this particular trend tells us. Okay, that's what this particular trend tells us. So I'll go back to reports. Okay, go back to reports. So I'll keep it at this, okay, because of time. I'll keep it at this too. So what I'll do is I'll do this, okay, and then for me to be able to see, for me to be able to see my to be able to navigate, choose a specific date so that my chart filters to those particular date range. Right, I would add a slicer. So I'll click on an empty space on the charts and add a slicer. This is a slicer. It's part of my visuals. Can you see where my mouse is right now? That's a slicer. That helps me filter my charts based on a specific condition. So I'll click on slicer, and that has a slicer for me down here. And what I want to be included in this slicer is my date. So I'll just click on dates. All right. And you notice that it gives a start date, end date, where I can now use this to, I can use this to adjust to the specific dates range I want to see. And I'll be able to tell what happened, okay, between those dates range. So it allows me filter my data, right? It allows me filter my data to see a specific range. So let's say I want to see for, say, for example, that's January 21 to, let's say, December, or to December 2021. Okay, I want to see to December 2021, something like this. All right. So that's this allows me to see what actually happened. And you can see where the dip is coming from, right? You can see where the dip is coming from for this particular year. So that's what this slicer helps you to. Okay, and you can see how it also affects this. Okay, so between these dates and this, this is my sales growth. Okay, so it allows you to take a deeper dive into what happened. So finally, what we'll do is I'll put in a title for this chart. I'll put in a title for this chart so that we can give it a name. So to do that, all I need to do is to click on text box. You can either click on text box directly from here, or you click on insert and you see text box also. Right, so I'll click on text box, and when I click on text box, you can see you'd see a text box pop up. All right, so okay, this is a text box down here. Okay, but I don't want it down here, so I'll put my cursor on any straight edge, not corner, straight edge of the text box, hold and drag it. right? Hold and drag it. So that way I'm able to, I'm able to adjust the position of my text box. So I want it up here so that I can put my title in there. And I want to call it financial performance report. Financial performance reports. Okay. Financial performance reports, right? And then I would highlight, after typing it, I'll highlight it, adjust the font size using this particular selection, make it bold. Uh, let's increase that. Okay, financial performance reports. Click on this, adjust the title itself, and done. Okay, so I've put in a title, I've put in my slicers to adjust my dates, as you can see down here. All right, I also put in 2 KPIs, okay, total profit. You can see the total profit between these dates. So I'll need to adjust it back to the original state so that I can see everything, okay? So what I'll do now is just to put in a bit of aesthetics. I'll just click on view. Right? Sorry about that. One more time. So give me 1 second to share my screen one more time. Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen now. So we'll just wrap up, just one more step, and we'll move into the other things that we have for today. All right. So let me know once you can see my screen. So Priscilla, are you on the call? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, you can see my screen. All right. Okay. I'll just go on then. All right. Thank you very much for that. So what I'll do is I'll click on view. So I want to put a bit of aesthetics on this, right? So I'll click on view. Okay, and you see themes. You see themes that you can select from. Okay, so I'll just click on the drop down to give me even more themes. And I want to select, what theme should we select now? Okay, you can select innovative, right? And you can see your chart will be formatted. If you think this looks better, then you can work with this. Or you can choose other themes just to quickly format your visual. Okay, I'll choose Frontier. Okay, all right. So Frontier, you can see that, but you can see this, the texts are a bit larger. So you may want to choose a format that, conforms with your text type. So I'll just go back to this. All right. So you can now see it a bit more clearer now. Okay, telling you exactly what happened year on year. So there was growth year on year. You can see the trend. From the trend, we saw a pattern, and the pattern was that between the second and third quarter, we always go down on sales. We always go down on sales. So if we can investigate the reasons why we consistently go down on sales at the middle part of the year, we can be able to ramp up our sales, in the coming year. So that's what this tells us. Because following this pattern, if we likely continue on the trajectory we are now, we'll likely keep having that, fluctuation year on year. So as an organization, from a financial standpoint, you want to look into what this is all about. Okay. So, but that's almost 20,000 rows of data. You've been able to summarize it on a single page, all right, to tell a story around what exactly is happening. That's what your job is as a financial analyst, right? I would have loved to do more, okay, create even more measures, profit margin, and we compare that year on year as well, month on month to see all the stuff, all right? But time is running against us. So we'll be going into the next things that we have for today. But did you learn one or two things? Did you learn one or two things from what we've done today? Just type a yes in the chat if you did. Type a yes in the chat if you did. And then we can move on to the next bit that we have for today. All right, fantastic. So, Emeka, you have a question. If you have a question, you can just note it down end of my presentation. All right, write your questions. I'll take questions at the end of my presentation. All right. So, this is a typical scenario of trying to measure performance in a financial data set. All right. Ojo said, but need video. Like I mentioned earlier, all you need to do is to fill in the attendance form, and the videos, the recordings will be sent to your emails, right? Including the slides I'm going to be presenting for today, which I've embedded the link to the data sets that I use. So you literally have every single thing you need, provided you fill in the attendance form. All right. So is that fine? Is that fine? Ojo. So Ojo asked for that. So I believe that's fine now. All right. So, and this will bring us back to, you know, um, to bring us back to our slides, okay, where we, talked about exactly what we have for today. All right. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the slide. You can see it here. This is the link to the data set that we used. So provided to you. All right, this is the case study, and you have the videos to work with. Okay, you have the videos to work with. But why do you want to choose a career in financial analytics? If I ask you this question, why do you want to choose a career in financial analytics? What will be your answer? You can type it in the chat before I tell you the real reason why you should be looking to choose a career in financial analytics. Why would you want to be a financial? Should you choose to be a financial analyst? Why would you make that decision? Why do you think you make that decision? Can you type it in the chat so I get your responses? Why would you want to be a financial analyst? Why would you want to be a financial analyst? I'm awaiting your responses so that I can see your POV. Sorry, confirm you can hear me, guys. Confirm, can anyone hear me? Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, flexibility in working. Thank you very much, Ojo. Ojo says flexibility in working. And that's fun. That's absolutely true. And I'll talk more about that shortly. Every business desires to know how they grow, hence the desire to be a financial analyst. Fantastic. Do I need to have a degree in accounting to be a financial analyst? We'll get into that shortly. iPhone. Okay, we'll get into that. Fantastic. So let's keep it coming while I present the next bit. All right. Now, the reason you want to even be a financial analyst in the first place is that the demand for people who have the skills to tell the organization exactly how they are doing financially, what's their financial performance, what's their financial position, right? They need people with this skill to be able to do this. If we did not analyze the data, we'd never have seen that pattern. Okay, we never have known that, oh, during the middle of the year, we have a problem of decrease in sales that we need to address. All right, but because you have that skill, okay, you'll be able to crunch the data and even go deeper than we have today. Right. So today is just a pinch, it's just a tip of the iceberg. Okay, so you can still go deeper into the data set. There's something we normally say: if you touch the data, it will talk to you. So the data is like a criminal, and you are like the detective, right? So when detectives torture criminals, at some point they start to let the cat out of the bag. So that's exactly what happens with data. So you torture the data to the extent that it starts to speak to you. All right, we could do more with that particular data. So you have it. I would love you to explore when you get it. But the question now lies, how exactly do you become a financial analyst? I can see some questions now. For example, somebody's asking for data analysis. Is it a must that you know Python? We'll get into that, okay, shortly. Just stick with me. So how exactly do you become a financial analyst? Right, that's the question. It's very simple. A financial analyst, first off, is like a data analyst. In fact, you're a data analyst, right? But the difference is that you are a data analyst applying your skills in the financial space, in the financial sector. Okay, that's where you are applying your skill sets. All right, so you help companies make financial decisions. You help them measure their financial performance, and you ensure that you facilitate their decisions using their financial data. So you focus on the financial aspect of it as a financial analyst. So that's who a financial analyst is. Okay, so you are concerned with the business financial data as a financial analyst. And what you need to understand is that, like somebody said, I saw somebody saying in the chat, oh, it's a very lucrative um, field to go into, and you are absolutely correct. And let me tell you, in the UK, financial analysts earn an average, not lowest, not the highest. Okay, it can vary depending on your location, depending on the industry you are in, you know, the company, organization you are in, and all that, right? So on an average in the UK, financial analysts earn over £50,000 annually. £50,000 flat out annually, right? And when you direct your gaze to people in Canada, financial analysts earn around close to 70,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, it's over 70,000 US dollars. Average, not the highest, not the lowest either. Right? So this is the kind of opportunity you are looking at. And the good thing is that you can work these jobs. Myself, I've done so multiple times. I'm currently doing so, right? Working remotely for organizations in different countries. You can be in the UK and work remotely for an organization in the US. You can be in Nigeria, Kenya, work remotely for an organization in the UK, work remotely for an organization. So you have access to remote jobs. All right. But that will now bring us down to, okay, before I get the skills to be able to do this stuff, what exactly do I need? The first thing you need to learn, the first thing you need to learn is problem solving. So you have to have that mindset. You have to have that mindset of a problem solver. So who exactly is a problem solver? And what's problem solving? You have to learn exactly what this concept is. And this is where you get to learn about different frameworks and techniques of solving a problem, from the CRISP-DM framework to the root cause analysis to prioritization matrix to the DMAIC framework. All these things you learn about them, and also you will not just be learning it theoretically. You'll be learning from professionals like myself, and other professionals like Priscilla mentioned earlier in the introduction, who will tell you exactly how they use this problem-solving framework to solve problems, right? So you have to have that at the back of your mind. Once you're done with that, you move to Excel. How do you use Excel to tackle financial data, right? So you'd learn how to use Excel to analyze financial data, right? You build financial models and all that, right? But you start from the basics of Excel. You start from the basics of Excel, and then you'd work your way up. Then when you're done with that, you then move to Microsoft Power BI, which is what we use today. You saw a snippet of what Power BI can do. So you learn how to use Power BI intensively as a financial analyst. And then one other important tool you need to know is SQL, right? And SQL means um, structured query language. And this is what you use to interact with databases. Databases are data storage systems. Okay, many organizations store their data somewhere. So SQL is what you would use as a financial analyst to interact with the database, right? And all these parts that you've done, that I've mentioned so far, is what a data analyst needs. So this is the data analytics skills that you need as a financial analyst. And after this, you then go into the accounting fundamentals. This is where you start to talk about, you analyzing financial positions, financial performance, um, building financial models, you know, engaging or embarking on project evaluation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and all that. You get to do all of these things, which are specific to the financial aspect of things. All right. So, in a nutshell, by the time you go through our financial analysis program, you would have done three things. You would have done data analytics. You would have investment banking. So these are the three major areas that all you can see on my screen cover. Okay. And then finally, I call this the icing on the cake, ChatGPT for analytics. So we are starting to move into the era of AI, and you have to start to level up as well. So you have to get conversant with using generative AI tools. I believe we have all heard of ChatGPT. You would have interacted with ChatGPT at this point, maybe on one occasion or the other. Is there anybody on the call that you've not heard of ChatGPT? Are you hearing of ChatGPT for the first time? Are you hearing of ChatGPT for the first time? Okay, no. All right. So I see somebody saying no. So you get to you know, you get to learn how to use ChatGPT for data analytics. All right. For sorry, I beg your pardon, financial analytics. Right. So when I say data analytics, and that's because data analytics is like the umbrella that covers all analytics. So financial analytics was extrapolated from data analytics. So I may use them interchangeably, but I'm talking about financial analytics, right? So you learn to use ChatGPT. So professionals will show you how they use it on their as both a productivity as well as a learning tool, right? So it helps you do stuff and you can also learn from it. And the program is for 4 months, right? So our program is for 4 months. And you'd have live classes for 3 months and 1 month growth internship. Okay, for 3 months within these 4 months, you'd have live classes, a session like this where you'd have an instructor put you through on how to use these tools to solve actual problems. And then afterwards, you test yourself by engaging in our 1 month growth internship. Okay, and your classes would hold on Saturdays and Sundays, right? But on Saturdays, that's where you have a live class like this. Okay, you have a live class like this, and it will be for 3 hours, and your classes will start at 11 a.m. West African time, and it will last for 3 hours, which means it ends at 2 p.m. West African time. Okay. If you're in the UK, that would be 10 a.m. UK time up until 1 p.m. UK time on Saturdays. That's when your classes would hold. All right. And then on Sundays, you get what we call your self-paced Watch Me Do It video. And this is the game changer here at Analytics, right? So on Sunday, you get a set of short, bite-sized videos that introduce you to some basic things, very basic stuff. For example, in Excel, what is a cell? What is a column? What is a row? All those basic stuff. That's what will be embedded in your Watch Me Do It videos, module by module. And then all you need to do is you watch them on Sundays, all right? And through the week, so some of our participants also, spread them through the week. So you have the entire week to ensure that you complete your Watch Me Do It video. And then when you come to class on Saturdays, you would have actual business problems to face. You face actual business problems, and you'll be using these tools like Excel, Power BI, and the likes to solve problems under the guidance of an instructor. All right, under the guidance of an instructor. So, as a financial analyst, when you complete our program, you can apply to so many other roles, including data analyst, risk analyst, investment analyst, credit risk analyst, corporate finance analyst, and so many others. All right. It's not limited to what you can see on my screen now. There are so many others. You can apply to data analyst role because you have data analyst skills, right? You can apply to financial analyst roles. You can apply to corporate finance analyst roles, um, financial advisor, you know, just with those skill sets that you have. Okay. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a 4-month learning journey. You have 3 months of live classes. And like I said, it's going to be based on real world projects. You have an instructor, come on board, and that's where you get to learn how these guys, these professionals, solve actual problems. Okay. And you heading into the class, you would have gotten your watch me do it videos, you have watched them.
Hi, everybody. Please, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please leave a yes in the chat. Okay. Apologies. Mohammed will be joining us shortly. Okay, but for now, if you have questions, you could just do well to leave them on the chat and we can take your questions before Muhammad joins in. Thank you so much. And if you haven't filled the feedback form, I'll be dropping it on the chat again, or the attendance form rather. Please take out a minute to also fill so you can get access to all the resources that we're using in this class. Thank you. Yeah, Eleva TC, I sent the attendance as well. So you could just fill that up as well. So Muhammad is back here. Muhammad, please confirm that you can hear me.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Sorry about that, guys. Just a tiny little glitch in there. Okay. So I'll go ahead and continue from where I stopped. Okay. So I'll go ahead and continue from where I stopped. Um, Once again, confirm you can see my screen so we can then put our foot to the metal. Okay. Now, like I said, I'll take questions at the end of this session. I would end it in a bit now. Okay. But I believe we can all see my screen. I believe we can all see my screen,
Yes, we
right?
can.
All right. So for some of our participants who have joined us on this amazing journey, all right, for a space of 4 months, we've been able to help, quite a number of them get jobs. Some of the most notable ones, I would mention some of them. There are so many, and I've included all of them in the chat in the slide, and you'll be able to go through. You'll be able to go through them when you get the slide. All right. Okay. So this young man here, Solomon, okay, just like myself, came from an engineering background. Okay, but he came from a chemical engineering background. Guess what? He works remotely for an organization, okay, the Kegos Group, okay, as a financial analyst. right? Currently works as a financial analyst after taking our financial analytics program. All right. We also have Chika. Chika got a role as a financial analyst in the UK. Okay. And we're responsible for preparing Chika for his interview. We also provided recommendation letters for Chika, and that served as, a backbone to him securing the job. Okay. And this is just a snippet of what we do. All right. We give you recommendation letters, we prepare you for interviews, and so much more, which I'll be mentioning in a bit. All right. So, and you have the links here, okay? So you can watch them, okay? I would have loved to play one of them for you, right? But because of time, I'll just go through some of the others and show you exactly how we have been able to help these amazing people get jobs from zero. Somebody was asking in the chat a couple of moments ago, do I need financial degree? Do I need a degree in financial analytics? No, you don't. Solomon here had a degree in chemical engineering, all right? And I was able to transition, okay, into becoming a financial analyst. Myself, I've worked as a financial analyst, even if I transitioned from mechanical engineering background. Likewise, Chika, so many. So you have Tony, you have Tosin, you have Benga, you have Olubemi, and these people cut across the UK, Canada, Nigeria, the US, and so many other locations. All right, and their testimonials are here, and you can also find them on our YouTube page. All right, you can also find them on our YouTube page. So go to YouTube, type analytics, and you see all of our participants who are giving their testimonials to you. But why exactly should you train with us at Analytics? The reason is very simple. All right, we bring some juicy stuff to the table. The first is that we've been helping people get jobs. Okay, last year alone, we helped close to 1,000 people get jobs, right from the four walls of the classroom to getting their first tech job. Okay. The second thing is that you'll be working with industry standard facilitators. You're working with people like myself who currently work as a financial analyst, okay, as a data analyst or as a data scientist, depending on the program that you enroll for, right? You have professionals from that field walking you through your learning journey step by step. It's also a blended training program in the sense that you are combining live classes and a self-paced watch me do it video, right? So you combine those your self-paced learning and your live classes, and that way that's how you learn. So it's a blended training program. It's also tailored to getting you a job at the end of the day, which is why we exist, right? So we tailor the program in such a way that you also have sessions, soft skill sessions, which I'll be pointing out now, where we help you review your CV, we help you optimize your LinkedIn account, we prepare you for interviews. And these are sessions that are not, part of your technical bit where you get to learn your tools and technologies that we have additionally for you to get jobs. Okay. And what we've done and how we get to do it is this, right? We start with reviewing your CV. We start with reviewing your CV. So your CV represents you on paper. Your CV represents you on paper. You are your CV on paper. So how should you look like? Meaning, how should your CV look, right? That's the first contact your potential recruiter gets, has with you before you get called for an interview. It's your CV. So how do you put it in shape? Likewise, your LinkedIn. Recruiters are all over LinkedIn and they are looking for people with the correct skill set to fill in some vacant roles. So how do you position yourself? How do you portray yourself on LinkedIn to ensure that you are who you say you are and you have sufficient proof that you are who you say you are? All right. So we help you optimize your LinkedIn to ensure that you are that person. You also move into Upwork. Upwork is one fantastic platform where you get online jobs, majorly for working with clients majorly from the US. All right. So, and you can work with these clients from any location anywhere you are around the world, whether you're in Africa or you're somewhere in Europe or you're in Asia or even in Australia, right? You can work remotely with these organizations. Okay. How do you do that? We'll walk you through exactly. So we bring on board specialists in this field, how you get remote jobs to walk you through this step by step. Okay. Now moving ahead, okay, moving forward, you'd also get navigating the job market. And this is where we come on board to tell you, okay, if you're located in Canada, this is how to get a job. This is what you need to do. This is how the Canadian government, would score you if you want to, get a job. Or if you're looking to relocate to Canada, what do you need? What are those things you need to do, right? And then you'd also get access to job interviews. Like myself, today I prepared quite a number of people for interviews, and I've helped them get jobs. You heard if you joined very early this session, you heard one of the participants mention that, I worked with them to ensure that, they get that job at the end of the day, right? So I prepare people for interview as well as other, professionals in-house. So we prepare you, tell you the questions to expect and how to position yourself in that interview success. All right. And you also get recommendation letters. Okay. Recommendation letters. Like Chika that I mentioned, who is one of many who've provided recommendation letters that facilitated them getting the job at the end of the day. Right. We provide this for you and we vouch for you that look, say for example, Temi Tope on the call, for example, applied for a job, did the interview and got an offer, but needs needs a somebody to vouch for them. Okay, we would give Temitope a letter, a recommendation letter, to ensure that they can seal that job. All right, and it doesn't stop there. We move to the next level, and this is where we offer what we call weekly mentorship session. So it's not just learning how to use Excel, learning how to use Power BI. You must ensure that you get the correct mentorship. So what are those guidance? What are those salient points? What are those common mistakes newbies make that makes it difficult for them to make that transition? So we uncover those insights to you during the weekly mentorship sessions. All right. This happens weekly on Thursdays. Usually on Thursdays, this comes up weekly, right? And this is where we demystify some of the myths around transitioning into tech, and so many other details. All right. And then you have on-the-job support. Take, for example, provided everything you need from your CV to preparing you for the interview, you've gotten a job, giving you your recommendation letter, and you've started working. And then, and many of our participants have experienced this. So they start, and one of the first things they're asked to do, they don't clearly understand, right? They don't clearly understand. So what we do is we help them for the first month of the job to ensure that they hit the ground running, and then they can take it up from there, right? So you'd have access to this. And one other thing that we've done this year, okay, is that we are going to guarantee you one interview 1 month after the end of your program. So ensure that you are going to get an interview, an actual interview, 1 month after you get, you complete your program with us. And you may be wondering, how do we do this? Stay with me. How we do it is that, we've done some some additions this year. For this year, one of it is we bring in people like you who have passed through our program and have gotten jobs to also, mentor you. And you would have the opportunity to ask them, being that they have also passed through our program and gotten jobs, which is the goal we are trying to achieve, right? They will be able to answer your questions, those burning questions that you have with regards to, your training program and how you need to, what exactly you need to do to get a job, right? So we've also enhanced our internship program. All right, we've enhanced our internship program, where especially for the data engineering and business analysis program. So we increased it from 1 month to 2 months. All right, and that's because of the nature of the projects that this specific, career path will be engaging in. And sorry about that. Lastly, which is why we have been able to promise you one interview 1 month after your training program. We've made partnerships with recruitment agencies, UK, Canada, and even back in Africa, Nigeria. All right, so we have recruitment agencies that we've partnered with, from Havinash to Michael Page, and the list goes on and on. So this is in a bid to bring the jobs closer to our citizens. In as much as we urge them to apply to jobs, we want to bring it closer to you, okay, and to increase your chances of even getting a job. All right. So that's one of the ways we've been able to promise you that, look, you're going to have at least one interview 1 month after the end of your program. So we have a cohort starting on the 6th of April. We have a cohort starting on the 6th of April. So every week, every first weekend of every month, we have a new cohort starting. All right, at least as of now. Okay. So, and the next cohort will start 6th of April 2024. And we have a fantastic discount. The discount I discussed at the beginning of the session, where I said I'll tell you exactly what the discount is. So, because we want to also commemorate the International Women's Day, we're currently offering a a huge discount, huge scholarship to 300 women and 50 men, as you can see. So what this means is that from our usual price of $750, if you're paying in dollars for our financial analysis program, we are slashing it down to $375. Okay, $375. That's a whooping 50% discount. Okay, it's not gonna last. It's just for 300 women. Okay, we held sessions through the week. If you've been in our sessions, we held an Instagram live session some couple of days ago. We brought on board some of the ladies that enjoyed this scholarship last year. Okay, 300 of them, all right, came on board, and the list is counting down as we speak. All right, and we also have extended to our lovely men as well. 50 of them will be able to also enjoy from this whooping 50% discount that's currently running. Okay, so ensure that you you take advantage of it now. So my colleagues will put this link, the link to enroll in the chat in any moment now, and you can click on it, and follow the prompt to enroll, so that you can take part in the discounts that is running. It's not gonna last forever. Last year, I remember very vividly, I received so many calls after my session telling me that, look, I just learned that the discount is no longer on. What can I do? All right, and we are so sorry, we are full. Okay, we've reached full capacity. You need to register for the next month, and next month won't come. I can assure you, okay, that next month you won't have this discount. Right? So ensure that to secure your seat, you make a one-time full payment. Okay, but if you want a specialized payment as well, you can reach us via inquiries at tenalytics.org. Okay. Yeah, it's not necessary. Somebody's asking, is there instrumental plans? And for this particular one, you're going to make the full payment before the program starts on the 6th. So let's say you don't have up to $375. Okay, still click on the link that my colleague has sent to you. Okay, and you would see the minimum amount you can pay. Okay, as of now. And before the program starts on the 6th, you must balance up before the program starts. So by doing so, you'd have paid the full amount even before the program starts. Right? So the minimum amount you can pay currently is on the link. So I'll show you how the link works in a bit. If you're paying in Naira, still click on the link. You'll see, depending on your location, you would see the currency you should pay in. So if you're in Nigeria, you definitely see Naira. In Ghana, you see Ghana cedis and so on and so on. Right? So that's the discount currently running. And like I said, it happened last year, and I'm definitely sure it's going to happen this year. People come on board and they ask, they enter my DM, oh, how many slots are left? And we're like, it's done. We're at full capacity currently. All right. And they're like, oh, could I also benefit from this? And we are very diligent with our capacity. So you want to take advantage while you still can. Okay. So you must remember that only the first 300 women alongside first 50 men to register to register, will be taking part of the discount. Like I said, okay, the full amount, like you can see on my screen, is $750, and down by we're slashing that down by half, 50% discount. All right, so that's for Mr. Salmeri Abdurrahim. Okay, so this is the current price. Okay, if you were here last month, you'd see that the prices were different. And I will say it again. I can assure you, if you come next month, you will not get it at this price. The same value, right? The same value. Nothing with that. We are not removing anything from the program. You get access to every single thing that we offer. Okay, but you're getting it at this particular price as of now. So you want to take charge of um, your destiny and take advantage of this. Okay, again, I'll reiterate, just the first 300 women to register alongside the first 50 men would have eligibility to this particular discount. And like I said in the slide, I've put in even more testimonials. So please, guys, when you get the slide, ensure you go through, watch every single one of them, Go to our YouTube, subscribe. I have a lot of content we put in very regularly. So you want to ensure that you follow us to ensure that you stay abreast with what's happening. Okay. Also do well to follow us at Analytics on our IG page, on LinkedIn and TikTok. Okay. And you'd see our content. All right. So this is what we have for today. All right. So like you can see on my screen, these are testimonials of so many of our participants who we've helped to achieve this feat in the past. And you want to take action now so that you can be able to also benefit. Some of the women you can see here benefited from the scholarship. I'll just show you, right? So you can see Women in Tech Scholarship. This was picked by Tech Cabal, okay, last year when it happened as well. Okay, Tech Cabal picked this last year when it happened, and so many people, so many women. Okay, then back then it was just 300 women, but now we've included 50 men. So you can see it's a rare opportunity, right? So that is what we have. So I'll just take a moment to show you um how to make the payment. So once you click on the link provided by colleague, once you click on the link, so you start with to know if you are eligible for the discount. You'd first click on the form, the link. Okay, so International Women's Day 300, you'd see this 300 women, 50 men in tech scholarship. So you'd read through the terms and conditions clearly stated. All right, you can see the conditions to be eligible for this. So ensure you read every single line. Okay, you can see it's as 50%. Is that we're offering that 50%. Okay, and then you can see some of the programs. Okay, this is for Scrum Master, and this is for other programs, including financial analytics. You can see the price in Naira, in pounds, in dollar, and in Canadian dollars as well. All right, so all you need to do is to enter your email. So I'll just enter my email. I'll enter my gender, okay, depending on my gender. First name, I'll enter my name, first name, so that's, I'll enter my first name, enter my first name, okay, and then enter my last name, and then your WhatsApp phone number. So I'll enter my WhatsApp phone number. Okay, enter my WhatsApp phone number. All right, in there. And then which of the training programs are you interested in? Choose a training program. Say, for example, I'm interested in financial um, analytics. All right. Say, for example, I'm interested in financial analytics. I'll click on that and say, how did you find out about us? You know, if it's on Instagram, on LinkedIn, if it was the founders, you know, if it's not listed here, just click on others and specify. So let's assume I head on Instagram. Okay, I'll just click Tenalytics Instagram and then I'll submit. Okay, and then you go ahead and submit. Okay, you go ahead and submit. So I'll just go ahead and submit. All right. So, and that would now open up the, you know, it will open up um, the link for you to make payments and see the brochure. So you want to see more details about the program, just click on this link. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click on that. And then it takes me to the main Stack link, which was provided, which is also provided. So just click on the link, fill the form, and you'll be able to get here, okay, to make payment. So you click on this link, just give it a moment. So let's give it a moment to load. All right, so it brings you here. Okay, it brings you here. All right, and this is where you click on the you click on the you click on the you know this link to get access to all our brochures. So I'll just go ahead and click on that, show you what it looks like. So if you click on that, you can read through all our brochures for all the programs that we offer, business analysis to cybersecurity to data analytics to financial analytics. I'll just click on the financial analytics, okay, to open that up for you so that you can see what that looks like. But you can go through it at your own convenience. Okay, you can see the financial analytics brochure, you can read the details to get more clarity. If you have questions, we'll definitely answer that. All right. So, but you want to make payments and take advantage of the discount running. So all you need to do is you select the program, okay, financial analytics. I'll select the program, financial analytics, and that takes me to where I can, make payments. All right. That takes me to where I can make payments. Okay. So you enter in the amount for the discount. Okay. Enter in the amount for the discount. You can see minimum amount you can pay is 250. So I'll just enter 450,000, which is the amount for the discount in Naira. Okay, you can see the amount. I displayed the amount earlier, depending on the currency that you would be paying in. Depending on, it's going to be dependent on your location. All right. So dollars, that's 375 as opposed to 750. In pounds, you're paying in 312.5 pounds as opposed to 625 pounds. All right. So what you want to do is then, go ahead to enter in this amount, click on reserve a seat, and then, follow the prompt, enter in your full name, your details, make, you proceed and all that. So when you are done, okay, you get a receipt. When you make payments, you get an automated receipt to your email. Or you also want to ensure that you come back here, you come back to this link and upload your receipt here. Okay, upload your receipt here. So we have it in records that you did register for our program. Okay, that you made payments for our program. So there is a two-way evidence. So I'll absolutely do that so that you can benefit from our program. Okay. So what we'll do now is I'll just take 2 to 3 questions and then we'll call it a day. So if I'm not able to take your question for today, right? If I'm not able to take your question for today, we will be having, we usually have on Tuesdays what we call the clarity sessions, right? Where I would work with myself and my team members will be on board to answer any other additional questions that you have concerning our program, right? So if you have a question, you can use the raise hand icon, then I'll ask you to unmute. I'll take 2 to 3 questions and then I'll ask you to, and then we'll call it a day. So, okay, Mika, I've asked you to unmute. Go ahead and unmute and speak.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, Mika.
Okay. So, so my question, the first one I asked was whether Python was needed for data analytics. All right. That's one, to have a knowledge of that. Then 2, this discount, basically, like if somebody wants to pay now, I think there are installments, right? Yeah.
All
so
right.
those are my 2.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. So I'll take it from the second question. So like I said, however you want to pay, right? You would have the minimum. If you saw what I shared on my screen during, showing you the payments page, you can pay as of now a minimum of 250,000 naira. If you're, let's assume you're in Nigeria and you're paying in naira.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But before you start the program, okay, if you read the terms and conditions, let me take you back to the terms and conditions so that we are all on the same page. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I've submitted the response. So, but just give me 1 second to bring that up. So in the terms and conditions, you would have completed your payment of 50% discount, which is 450,000 naira. If you are paying in naira, if you are paying in dollars, it is $375. If you are paying in pounds, it's going to be 312.50 pounds. All right, you would have completed that payment before the class starts. If not, you'd not be eligible for the discount. Either you top up for the coming month, or you either get a refund in that case, right? But the thing is, whenever you now choose to join us, you would not be eligible for discount. Do you understand? So you ensure that it's a one-time payment to be eligible for the discount. But we made that flexibility a bit so that you can join us. So is it possible to choose May 4 start date using this discount? So absolutely. All right. So just indicate when you want to start. Okay. But like I said, the discount is currently running. So you can see people who want to start in the next month already taking advantage of the discount currently running. Right. So ensure that you're taking advantage of this discount, guys, so that you can start. Okay. Now, for your first question, do you need Python in data analytics? The answer is a big no, right? That was one of the misconceptions a lot of people have about data analysis. As a data analyst or as a financial analyst, you don't need Python. The professionals that need Python are the data scientists, data engineers, mostly. That's because the data scientists would use Python to build predictive models. The data engineers would use Python to automate data flows. So how data flow within the organization, that will be done by the data engineer. They would use Python. So as a data analyst, even if you find a job posting that says, oh, strong Python knowledge, and it's data analysis, right? Yeah, and you can see somebody's already saying it, just as if I'm reading Osar's mind, right? So even if you see that on job postings, it's very important that you know that recruiters, what you see on job postings is what recruiters call wish lists. Wish lists. Now,
Wish
let me
list.
share one of my experience with you. So back then when I was looking for a job, there was this particular job that I saw, and I nearly ran crazy. They were asking for a data analyst who has proficiency in JavaScript. Also, do you know what JavaScript is? Do you know who uses JavaScript?
Software
JavaScript,
engineers.
exactly. Software engineers use JavaScript. So you don't need to know JavaScript to be able to get that job. Okay. So the good thing is that I got the job. Okay, I got the job and I used only Excel and Power BI for that particular job. So what they have in there is what you call wish lists. Okay. Some of them even literally copy and paste from somewhere. So the HR personnel are not technical. They don't know the details of some of these to skill career paths, right? But they know exactly what they want. They know that they want somebody who has um, the skills in Excel, Power BI, and all that stuff to make sense of their data. So it's now left for you to go into the interview and portray yourself as that professional that they need, and you be you'll be fine. Okay, so that these are the things that we didn't know back then as well. That made us take time to be able to. But here we are now sharing some of these things with you guys. Okay, so you absolutely don't need Python as a data analyst. Okay, so that's the answer to your. I hope I'll be able to answer your question.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
It's a pleasure. Okay, so I'll take one more question and then we would call it a day. One more question. So who else has a question? Who else has a question? Before we call it a day, like I said, we have sessions on Tuesdays, and I've been pondering over Panda exactly. So imagine, I see even myself. Let me start with myself. Let me share a bit of my experience with you. Remember, I said I did mechanical engineering back then in school. So I did mechanical engineering back then in school, and one of the courses I needed to pass to earn my degree was Python. Guys, I hated the living hell out of Python. Imagine learning Python by writing notes. Just imagine learning Python by writing notes. Being taught Python by people who don't use Python to solve problems. So that itself is a big problem, right? So that's where we are different. You learn Python by writing notes. You learn by solving actual problems. Okay, that's how to learn it. And as a data analyst, you don't need Python, right? As a data scientist, on the other hand, you would need Python. Do you understand? So, and I was able to start out as a data analyst at the end of the day, and then I slowly moved into data science. Okay, so start from the very basics, and then you move into some more a bit more complex technologies. So and that's how it works. Okay, so that is it. Are we saying we don't have any additional questions? So my colleagues are in the chat. You can see phone numbers, the WhatsApp phone number or WhatsApp phone number. You can reach us. Do we require certifications? So in as much as we offer certificates. So at the end of the program, you get a certificate after you've completed all your assignments and projects. You get a certificate, right? Oh, okay, it was an incomplete question. So Tofim is asking, do we require certifications for Power BI before we use it in our CV? I believe that's your question, right? You absolutely do not need that. Okay. Now let me tell you something. Back then when we were in school, right? When I was in school, okay, we were even given a certificate for Python. And I knew within myself that this certificate, I can't defend it. I couldn't defend it back then. How can you learn Python on paper, and then you're getting a certificate, a Python certificate. All right. So the issue is this. You don't need this long and short of the question that you asked. You don't need a certification for Power BI to put it in your CV. Recruiters don't care about your certificate. In fact, they don't care about your degree. All right? They don't care about your degree. What do they then care about? They care about your skills. Tell us what you've been able to use Power BI to do. What problems have you been able to use Power BI to solve? All right? What value did you bring to previous clients and organizations you've been able to work with over your extensive years of experience? Tell us about those projects. Oh, what's the difference between primary and foreign keys in Power BI? Oh, have you used Power BI to do have you worked with a client in the financial space before? These are questions they will ask. No one will ask you, do you have a Microsoft certificate? No one will ask you, do you have this and that? They want you to show them what you have been able to do. So it's all about show your workings. That's where your LinkedIn comes in, right? You want to ensure that you are able to, but you are that person they will need you to be. So that's the logic. Be that person they need you to be. So your background doesn't matter. You have a degree or not, it doesn't matter. You have a certificate in that too, it still doesn't matter. You're not going to get hired because you have a certificate and someone else doesn't. You would rather get hired if you have been able to prove to them that you are who you say you are, you have the skill set to be able to succeed on that. Okay, so that's how it works in the tech space, right? So that is it. So I believe I've answered your questions. It was a fantastic session. I really enjoyed myself, and I hope to see each and every one take advantage of the discounts currently run, and then we can work together to see how we get you also into the text. Okay, so type a cheers in the chat. Type a cheers in the chat if you enjoyed the session before we then draw the curtain. Type a cheers in the chat. I'll type mine. Cheers, chat. So that's my own cheers. So let me see yours. Okay, fantastic. All right. So I'd love to see you all in the in class come 6th of April. All right. So in the absence of any other questions, we'll call it a night at this point. So cheers, guys, and see you guys later.